Chair.
Where are we moving?
I would like to comment that one of the reasons the 6-meter repeater is back on the air was a donation by a member of the club, requested to remain anonymous, or who ordered the brand new, straight from the manufacturer, $3,400 set of cabinets. So that brand spanking new. And yes, the club member did take advantage of the club's nonprofit corporation designation, and so they're eligible for a tax deduction, and so they're getting that tax deduction. But thanks to them, we have a new system on the air.
All right, Charlie, one last thing. I have one request, wanting to know where everything is going to go. And the answer is, it's a two-part answer. Initially,
You're talking of the material.
the material that's in the container. It's going to be a two-part solution. Part of it is going to go to needy hams in Mexico. A lot of the old Motorola stuff that we don't ever intend to put on the hill, they can use. It still works, still serviceable. So that will be our donation to keeping ham radio up and alive. The remainder,
And that's courtesy of Mike and Gail,
yes.
who are going to help and assist in the transfer of material to Mexican hands.
Okay, the material that we are keeping is going to be temporarily stored at a 24-hour storage facility until basically I can get the cargo container moved up to my property. I've got about 3 acres. So I'm leveling a pad for it, and it will be stuck at my place. And hopefully we won't have another stand situation for those of you who've been around for 15, 20 years. So at least that's the answer I've come up with for the time being. If anybody wants a 40-foot cargo container on their property, let me know right after the meeting.
We couldn't just stick it next to the hill already.
Well, one, there isn't room on the hill without cutting down a lot of trees, and even a 40-footer, I'm not sure it would stick out into the road. Secondly, it's not the most accessible place to go up there and get things, especially in the winter.
Well, we can do some cross-country skiing for health benefits. Glenn, site chair report, please. Site chair, membership report.
Okay, I'll just shout it from back here, if that's okay. So we currently have 251 members currently paid out, 208 individual members, and 21 families. The assumption is 21 family members, one per family. So 251 members.
Any questions on that?
If anyone has a question about your news, list sorted by call sign, you can check and see if your membership is expired or not.
We have a couple of announcements. KB6NMK has an announcement about a BE licensing exam coming up this Saturday in Escondido.
Can you hear me?
No.
No.
Don't be shy, come on up.
Sign-in sheet? Sign.
We have a testing in Escondido. Jay Goldberg is having another class for technicians, so it's all technicians. It's like about 30 people in the class. I have 12 committed BEs for that evening. We can use another 6 or 8 to make it run smoothly. So if you're a BE and you're available on next Saturday evening at 4:45 for a couple of hours, please come and help us. Talk to me after the meeting if you're interested. Also, we're running a BE session at Field Day. And although we've got lots of extra class qualified BEs at Field Day, most of them are very busy doing other things. So if you're a BE and want to spend from 1 to 3 at the PARC field day site, come and play Big E with us. I don't expect a lot of people to come and test that afternoon, but we need 3 VEs there the whole time in case somebody wants to test it. So 2 more would be great. 3 more would be better. The one that I have is the first time. Okay, thanks.
You wanted to talk about your demo?
I gave a talk in April. I was trying to pass around the demo, but it wasn't very successful because I was stealing it back every 5 minutes. But anyway, I'm going to pass this around. You can play with it. It'll tune 40 meters through 6 meters, and you should be able to receive any of it. If you're interested in operating the remote rig, it's under remotehams.com. They give you all the instructions on how to gain access. And it's KF6C underlying sound markers on there. To gain transmit, you'll need to talk to me specifically. You can either do it tonight or you can do it at KF6C.com online. Thank you, John.
We're having a 3-part program tonight. Brian, AG6CF, is going to talk about our field day plans. Should be pretty comprehensive. Gail and Mike are going on. Gail is going to talk about the results of investigation on the ARRL scholarship opportunity, the things that are available, how you go about it. She mentioned it about 6 months ago. A committee was formed. Mentioned the scope, come forward with a pretty comprehensive study, things that we're thinking about. And last but not least, anybody know what this is?
Toys. Box.
Toys. A box with toys. 2 brand spanking new, never opened, still sealed, handy talkies that will be used for a drawing at field day. The rules are in scope. No cost for PARC Club members, only for PARC Club members. 1 will be drawn on Saturday, 1 will be drawn on Sunday. The rule is very complex. You must show up at the field day site and sign in on the participation sheet. You'll have to work at 35 words a minute on CW. Where's Dennis? Oh, I thought he would bring that.
Do those HCs come with the keys?
Yes. VHF, UHF. No, you don't have to operate. You have to show up at the field day site and sign. 1 ticket per person signing in. No proxies. And the tickets that don't draw on Saturday will roll over into Sunday. If a person from Saturday shows up on Sunday, they can sign on Sunday, no more than 2 tickets. And then at the conclusion of field day, we will draw the second. Any questions on that? Okay. Cookie table. John, what do we got for us?
We have some high-powered stuff here, and there's some freebies. Some kind of mobile mounts and video distribution amp, battery charger, a power supply, says it's, let's see, 12 volts at one amp, so pretty useful. I also went to a donation from an estate, and the relatives of the ham that had passed wanted, he left instructions that all of this stuff was to go to the club. So I went to pick it up, and I did a quick analysis on the workbench, and I found that most of the stuff is got 1 problem or more simultaneously. But it all passed the smoke test. There was no smoke as I put power to it. So Beyond that, some of it is dead on arrival. So anyway, I'm appreciative of the people that bought some of the radios already, their donations to the club. And if you think that you want to do a little project learning how to patch up a shortwave listener receiver, or maybe repair a PA on a 10-meter mobile rig, this is a good example to try.
You all benefited from one thing that John didn't tell you. Making use of the availability of new rules. El señor visitó a Cuba la semana pasada. He traveled to Cuba and enjoyed one of the cultural tours. If you want to talk about his experience, remember, if you don't go there now, by the time you get there, there will be a McDonald's on every corner, Starbucks on every corner, and you won't get to ride a 55 Chevy with a beer can and a hardware. Plan the book. I'd like to introduce our board, our repeater and site tech chair, Mark. You've already heard from him. Michelle is not here tonight, scope editor. Kevin, KK6FRK, director number 2. John. Where'd you go, John?
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. AG7CK. I got it right this time.
Nope.
No, wait a minute, I fixed it. I fixed it for him.
Now, Charlie 7 Golf Kilo, the old electric heat.
No, I take that back. My eyeglasses aren't. I'll have to go check with my
For Charlie, we understand.
KJ6ZQH. Glenn, way in the back. Membership. Treasurer, W0NI. Tom, thank you. The blinding is just. Our secretary, her car broke down on the freeway, and she called Vice President Joe, way in the back. And you know me. Do we have any new hands visiting? Oh, congratulations. Please stand up and tell us all about yourself.
Not much to say. I came to the test last month, picked up my license and joined the club, and I'm looking forward to learning more about amateur radio. My name's Glenn.
So,
I'll sign another.
AI6QA.
Hi, my name is Keith. Like him, I took the test just earlier last month. Kilo Mike 6 Charlie X-ray whiskey is the call sign, and I'm looking forward to learning a whole bunch from you guys. There's a lot of stuff to learn and you discover pretty quickly.
That's net 2D2.
Yeah, it's not actually the right guy. He's got the same radio I have.
Same situation here. My name's Greg. I just took the test a couple weeks ago. Got a lot to learn. KM6CCK.
Hello. Overmodulated?
no.
I'm Bob. Kilo Mike 6, Bravo Mike X-ray. Took my general part of technician in March, general in April, and running the extra for a little bit. So.
If you come work at the CW station, you'll get a DXCC by the end of the field.
I don't know.
Anybody else? Any visitors who aren't licensees? Okay,
Anyone who didn't sign this that still wants to?
yeah, the attendance sheet is in the back.
Attendance sheets are over here. He's got another sheet there. This is the sucker list for now, 2 Saturdays.
And with that,
I think all the way up.
we will move forward to Brian's field day presentation.
Oh, can we do,
And courtesy,
you're first.
oh, you want to do the scholarship, okay. Gail? Whatever you say.
Where shall I be?
Wherever you
Probably,
want.
one of us can push the buttons for you.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty high tech.
Good evening, I'm delighted to be here, Gail, K6GO, and as the slide says, the purpose of this presentation, we want to introduce this concept, we want to talk about radio scholarships, and we want to talk about San Diego, actually San Diego and Carroll County. Pardon me? I don't want to over deviate. Is that okay? All right, okay. So what we're talking about is paying it forward. And clubs can do this, first people as an individual can do this, people can create memorial scholarships. Tonight, we're talking about doing this as a club. So basically, I'm not gonna read this to you, but we all know Part 97 and that we're a public service, we're to enhance radio, we're to advance skills, and we need more hands, and also, don't ever forget international movement. Our license is a federal grant. We have a public purpose, a public value. We need to give back to the community. We do give back to the community. And so that's why we're all here listening to this, part of it. Just a little bit about my background, really, really small, but I was a guidance counselor, I was a lead counselor, I was the scholarship counselor, I did student services, I was responsible for counseling. And so that's enough about that, just to let you know I have a background in this. And the amount of the scholarship, it's not going to be some big vast amount that the committee is suggesting. It's going to be a motivational amount, an encouragement, and it's definitely the right thing to do. And there are many students who apply over and over again for small scholarships, and they can put together some real small scholarships and get some decent amounts. So what I did at Dayton last week was meet with some people from the ARRL, and also Tom, who is the president of the ARRL Foundation. So the foundation is under the auspices of the ARRL, but it's like a separate individual with its own 401c3. So I met with him, and I met with Lauren, and then I met with Deborah. And just an aside, it's not really the scholarship, but I brought the ARRL in really trying to get more people involved and young people involved. We're doing this Teachers Institute, not just anybody can get information about that. So moving along on the people I talked to, the next few slides we're just going to breeze through. You're not really to read this. I want everybody to see the magnitude of all the available ARRL scholarships. But look at the highlighted places. Nobody from California can even apply or earn any of those because they're geographically specific. We'll just roll through the. So, what would be the application requirements? You can set up whatever you want. They could be financial, have to do with disabilities. You could require club membership. You could require they've evolved. No, not really. I just see it all. But they could be for your division, your town. One of the things the ARRL suggests, don't be too limiting, because then if you don't find someone to fulfill the scholarship, it will go begging. So we want to be general enough, but also be specific enough that it meets what we want. Then these are the scholarships that do not have the geographic requirement. One is a California one. And these two have California eligibility. Then 3 were awarded to California students. Doing this research started when a ham friend from another club got really upset when the QST shows all the kids from all over the country that win all the scholarships, and California seems to be poorly represented. And one of the solutions to that is us. Let us make us better represented. And so we would like to, we formed a committee, and on the committee, I should have said this many slides ago, John, who has a great background, very similar to mine at the college level, and Kevin, who has a fabulous background. You all know what he's doing with the Scouts and with young people and being encouraging. So if we go with the ARRL, we can do this all by ourselves because we are a 401c3. But the ARRL can manage the whole thing because they would do it, put money in an interest-bearing account, and they would take the responsibility. This is all stuff we've been researching as a committee, and we're just bringing it forward as something for the club to think about. We've done a couple of presentations at the board level, so now this is telling everybody and in scope, and this is telling everybody about it. Then this is just a sample, and again, I won't read it to you, but I want you to see the research we've done, and this is some suggestions, and you just establish if we're interested. You can tell that I sure hope we are, but if we are, we establish it, we have requirements. These are some suggestions. Everybody on the committee said, oh, absolutely, they should have at least a tech license and show some kind of interest in activity. Encourage, if you use words like encourage, it doesn't have to be a gotta, encourage to be a member of PARC, things like that. Again, just some suggestions. When would this start? What would happen? How it would go. And, naming it PARC Scholarship Fund. And so also, here's an aside, individuals, in case someone's firing anybody, can do this. They can create an amount, a percentage, they can leave it in their trust, in their wills, things of that nature, to have a scholarship go on in anybody in this room's name forever. That's an example, leaving a percentage. Second is an example, leaving an amount of money. And so what would be the next step? Well, we've created the committee. We've developed the requirements. We even have a sample of what the application could look like. So that the step is report back to PARC. Here we are, reporting back to PARC, reporting to all of you, and then, of course, having a due date. So let's talk about the survival of amateur radio. I mean, who is going to succeed us? Who is going to follow us if we don't inspire young people? I won't embarrass anybody, but who's the youngest person in this room? How old are they? We don't have any youngsters sitting here.
Are you 29, 30? Yeah, I'm a young one.
You're the youngest one in the room. Look at that. And you're not a kid.
You've only got a couple months on me.
There you go. And our responsibility to the community, to the gosh darn love of ham radio. We're here because we're passionate. So meeting our mission, our duty, leaving a legacy, and it's the right thing to do. So it meets with the PARC mission and purpose. And we're saying in conclusion, we need to create a PARC scholarship. Yes. But yes. So how would this be funded? The big question I heard from this side of the room. Well, we could all open our wallets. Okay. But one of the best ideas that the committee had, thank you, John, is that a lot of people in this club work for some very high-tech corporations who are sometimes looking for a write-off and a contribution. And if we could get some nice size contributions, if we do it through the ARRLs, because remember, this is our first presentation for our club, a lot of decisions need to be made. But if we set a goodly amount to the ARRL, they suggest, don't fall off your chairs, 20 to 25,000, but that gets put in an interest-bearing account. So you're not just leaving a scholarship for 25 years, you're leaving it for, maybe 100 years. I mean, this could go on. They're so enthusiastic about the possibility of us doing that. If we came up with some small amounts in the beginning and worked on it, they'd be delighted. And again, as I said, we could go totally on our own. So this is a brochure from the ARRL Foundation about this scholarship program. It's really great meeting with ARRL people. It's really super. And I was even looking in Dayton Hamvention. Well, they're your Dayton Amateur Radio Club. They're bragging about their scholarship, and here are 3 scholarships, but that's not all. Flip the page. There are another 2 scholarships that they're giving. So here's a local city club who's very generous with getting young people involved. And we hope you're going to all agree and be enthusiastic.
What's the average value of each scholarship each year?
Excellent. Average is $1,000. So it's not a free ride, it's a motivation, it'll buy some of your books, and the young people will always remember, hey, who backed me? The Palomar Amateur Radio Club and the ARRL care to keep me active and motivated. Anything else? Okay, thanks for listening.
Having enjoyed Dayton, there are a couple of things that I'd like to mention in relation to this. Every ARRL meeting has a convention. There is an ARRL forum, and it's an opportunity for the leadership of the ARRL to talk about things in open, people ask questions and get answers. It was surprising to hear 3 different clubs ask the ARRL Foundation presenter to say essentially their club is about to go out of existence because they've all reached the checkout date and they've been unable to attract new hands. I'm getting close to the checkout date, so something to think about. The other question that came up in relation to the scholarships was, $1,000? How good is that? How many of you who went through college have a scholarship? My scholarship was $200 a quarter. That paid, this is a few years ago, so $1 a lot. That took care of my room for the quarter. One less thing I had to work for in the job I had.
Oh, yeah, but then they invented gasoline for cars and it got more expensive.
And so it's, it's not so much that you're going to get a complete ride, but just a little bit of financial freedom can be a big motivator.
My wife teaches America, so just so you know, $1,000 would pay all of your tuition and part of your books for 1 semester. About $700 for 15 units to carry it. So $1,000 would go a long way to somebody going to colleges. Thank you.
How many folks are here to program their radios? I see 1. Okay. 2. Oh, you finally bought a radio? Okay, so Brian, the floor is yours,
All of it?
if you want it.
Well, hi. Some of you may have heard of Field Day. It's coming up. That's on the later slide. Love to get people out to play and well, that's what we're going to talk a little bit here. So, screen's kind of narrow. That fits mostly. For those who may not have met the event, what's Field Day? A lot of things, emergency exercise, social event, opportunity for public outreach, chance for educational activities. We debate whether it's a contest or not a contest, but it actually has aspects of a contest and aspects of not a contest, so make it how you like it. It's 35,000 or more hams across the US and Canada getting on the air and having fun. Most of all, Field Day is what you make out of it. So, what do we have? Carrying on, a couple more details maybe. Biggest single operating event of the year. It's a chance, especially the way we do it, to show off what we've got to the public, elected officials, agency representatives, pretty much whoever happens by the site. I understand we've got some interested rabbits at the site in Valley Center, so maybe we can get years do something there. It's a chance to practice setting up temporary operations under adverse circumstances, as might be done to support disaster response. There are participants all over interested in that aspect. Chance to practice operating under said adverse circumstances, use backup power and the like. And what is it? A chance to party with our friends. We have a strange idea of what a party is. Could be. So getting down to what we've got for this year, and things are kind of in the order I thought of them here. And I know I forgot some things because I remembered them on the way here and then forgot them again. When is it? Friday through Sunday, June 24th through 26th. Setup is on the 24th. It can actually begin Thursday evening if you get some bodies to grab the towers out and just offload in the right places, or not. And more on the timing. Where is it? It's the corner of Valley Center and Lilac in Valley Center, Water District property, same place we used last year. For those who are sitting here thinking, man, Valley Center, that's like the center of the valley. Well, it's actually only 13 miles past the old site that turned into a DMV, so it's not as far out there as it sounds. What we're doing this year, it didn't look like we had the CW operations to support 2 stations. Prove me wrong and we'll bump this up. But for now, it's a free alpha, plus of course get on the air and maybe some other toys. What we have so far, 20 meter, 80 meter CW station, Charlie's the captain, and another one of our Poway locals, Eric is gonna go with him and learn the ropes a little, so we have station captains in future years. For 2080 voice, Mike, and A6MB. And we can all use operators, by the way, so talk to us. And Glenn in the back will be joining him and learning the ropes. And then 15 meter, 40 meter voice, Ryan, 86CF will be bringing out the gear, filter and so on. And then Joe back here is gonna join me and learn the ropes some, so.
That Joe, not this Joe.
Yeah. Thank you, said GL there. Jim, and he said so, has GOTA with, we hope, much help from the Valley Center CERT. I emailed them about coming out, and they sent me one back and listed a bunch of gear they wanted to bring out the demo, and I looked at the list and said, yeah, let's add that to GOTA. GOTA's gonna be a play place this year, I think. Jim's bringing out some good stuff. I have another slide. So Jim's gonna bring some stuff out, the Valley Center CERT's gonna bring some stuff out, and we'll have fun. So, let's see, the good news, always a good place to start. We have a site. We were up to the last minute last year, so we're settled in. Got the insurance agreements, porta potties, all the stuff you need. We have tri-tip. Psycho Kitchen's gonna be back out, and we'll have a nice spread on Saturday afternoon, and food through breakfast Sunday. We have station captains. We have a VE session. Joe's gonna bring a few people out and set up for folks who want to take the test. 1 to 3 on Saturday afternoon. As you mentioned, she can still use maybe a couple of more committed VEs. There'll be a lot of, I'm a VE, but I'll be on site, but I may be busy. So she needs someone who can commit to the session. We have some demonstrations coming out. For those who are at the May meeting, Eric, N6GOF, is going to bring out APRS toys and set up and have playtime. So if you're interested in APRS, if you have a radio and it has APRS and you're not sure what to do with it, then bring it on out.
Are there going to be times for these different demos or time frames?
I contacted Eric. Yeah, I talked to Eric and he said his preference is to just bring the stuff out and have a tent and take people as they come. So his will largely just be free play. Also, I and a couple of other folks who have Fusion equipment will be bringing it out, and I will probably schedule something for question and answer and play a little bit and look at buttons. Because I'll probably have to commit a time slot. But I imagine Eric's probably got some of that too. And so that should be a good one. And let's see, Valley Center CERT, not quite. As mentioned, we'll be more involved this year, and I'm thrilled about that. And the best news, everybody who comes and helps out just shows up, gets the same pay rate I do. And yes, so come on out, have fun. Okay, then the bad news. There is no Rule 6. Oh, bad news. So, there are things we need, but things are coming together and looking good so far.
I think we ought to set up a simplex frequency to run around the site and when you get nearby and all that other stuff.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
In other words, it's 145 fives.
145, 555?
Yeah.
That's easy to remember.
All right.
So
That's it, my radio is field.
yeah, so that is one of the things we need to do, and we will be listening on the computer, I'm sure, also as we go. The site layout, much like last year, with 2080 stations at the ends. It's a big site. If you weren't there last year, there's lots and lots of room. The biggest challenge I think we're going to have is making sure that the 228 stations are actually within the required radius for the field-based site.
Watch the ravine that goes right between 28 and 4050.
Yeah, well, I think I did manage to land 1540. There was a little chain link thing there. I think I landed that right next next to it. But if we get there and there's a rabbit hole under one of these, we'll slide it over. That's Lilac Road on the bottom, Valley Center Road on the right, and north is up. So that's, I think,
Yeah, pretty much anywhere in that.
I think the car here is about where the entrance is. The entrance is off Lilac, and that space, when you come in between there and the stations is.
It should be pretty obvious, there'll be.
Yeah, lots and lots of space to park.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't been there before,
Yeah.
you're pretty much there in the center of downtown Valley Center. That's pretty much it. Across the street, not in that picture, is the fire station.
Yes. And community
And
center.
community center next to the fire
So,
station.
but, yeah, you've got a good one there, Tom, is
So it's, yes,
right.
just to the right and down a little bit is our steakhouse. We only have one. Bad Ivory.
Yeah, better acres for the sign. Yeah. Yeah, good points. And yeah, moving the information table a little more to the front people will tend to go there first, which is something we like. So, I like that. Yeah. Let's see, trying to get some El Marina demonstrations. We've got some things going. Kind of pleased. Field day gives a special opportunity to grow the ham community. And I look at it, and one of the things, yes, we get points for field day, but what's worth more, 100 points toward our field day score or a new excited ham? And I know, Mike said some things, and, I want both, to be honest, but if it comes to a choice, I'll take a new excited ham, join the club and keep the hobby going over 100 points at field day. I'll still try to get the points. We've got captains, co-captains at all the stations, and I like this. It's something I wanted to do to get folks who hadn't done station captain and to join in and do a lot of the setup of gear and get to know what the pieces are and be a part of it. So we have station captains in the future, and so I'm pleased to see that. As mentioned, at 6GLF is bringing out APRS toys. So looking forward to that. C4FM Fusion as mentioned. And Rhoda, Jim's bringing out X-Beam and Maglu. Some of you have seen his X-Beam. It's a site. And Valley Center CERT. I think they mentioned the fan dipole and some VHF, UHF stuff for demonstrations. That's good to have an exchange with Michelle, and she's going to try to get something up for the ATV for field day also. That's not very solid at this point. Yeah, that is neat stuff. Yes, and And those things kind of help to bust up the conception of some folks who may not know that ham radio is sitting on the radio talking. So that would be good, I think. Other ideas are welcome. I may bring out a little portable antenna setup I've got just for show. So, got ideas, you've got something, get in touch. And we'll see if we can make a little spot of ground there by the tents. Thanks. Okay, now business stuff. We gotta do this sooner or later. Schedule. Thursday, 5 p.m. The ARRL permits us to begin setup. With the heat last year, I'm thinking if enough bodies are able and willing, might not be a bad idea to just go grab the towers, drive around the site, and drop them where they belong. It's one thing we don't have to do Saturday or Friday. Friday, we can start whenever we have enough people. Historically, we tried for 11, made it by 12 or 1. And that is, yes, and that's in here. So once we get enough people, then we can start with putting the antennas together, put them on the towers, stand them up. Station captains can hook their things up. And be ready for Saturday. I have a little more on setup later. Saturday, 11 o'clock a.m. is all local time. It's easier. Operation begins. Saturday from 1 to 3 in the afternoon, the BE session as mentioned. From Joe a liar, talk all your friends and neighbors into coming out and taking the test. Load her up. But talk to people. They got their license at field day. They got an upgraded field day. It's a special thing. So after the BE session, starting around 4, the tri-tip barbecue dinner. Gina's promised to come out again and feed us like we're used to. So that'll be great. Yeah. And then after the dinner, things slow down a little, and insomniacs keep the show going through the night. Sunday morning, 6 to 8 or so, is breakfast from Gina's Kitchen again. And at 11 o'clock Sunday, the operation ends, and we begin the tear down and go home process. So that covers the main schedule. And yeah, now for some of the details on setup. Those who were out there last year, it was kind of warm. So planning for plenty of water, take breaks, stay hydrated. I think Mark said something about people not dropping dead on the site. That is one of the ARRL safety rules, is people are not supposed to drop dead at field day.
Yeah,
So,
if you do, walk across the street to the fire station and do it there.
yeah. Thanks.
They have paramedics. But what a way to go.
Yeah. As mentioned, we can take the towers to the site and drop them off Thursday evening. It's a way to beat the heat. Setup in earnest begins Friday morning. I talked about that. The goal for Friday is to have pretty much everything together except cranking up the towers, and of course you can't put dipoles on properly until the towers are up. But we'd like to have everything pretty much together, so it's an easy start on Saturday. I think it starts Saturday. I've talked to the fire department about filling barrels again. Standing towers up does take a certain amount of muscle. So strong and able, we can use help. If not, we can, another slide, but if not, we can use people to monitor the radios, listen for people on the repeaters, or people to keep an eye on on what we're doing to make sure we don't get done. It's not all, and that's
Bring your own hard hat.
what I'm saying.
And gloves.
Yes. I know I have a slide in there for that. Okay, club or people have 10, I have 2, one for me. And if you have a hard hat, definitely bring it. Closed shoes and gloves are a good idea. We're getting ahead of you a little, but that's okay. Can we back one? Make sure I get it. Oh, yeah, and if you can't lift towers, but you want to come out and see how it's done, come on out. We're not gonna give you too much trouble about just watching. Yeah, sign the sheet, get a ticket to the drawing. There's the water barrels. Okay, next. Safety, big thing. I maybe should have covered it a little earlier, but it's the order things came to me. Charlie's gonna play safety officer this year. He doesn't want to lift towers. So he'll monitor the setup and tear down process for safety. Ensure that we get the safety poster hung up in the necessary places. And the ARRL has a safety checklist and actually some points for this. So that'll be there. Plus be a point of contact for safety officials or questions or concerns. And I was reading the safety checklist and would really like to know, why does the ARRL want you to have an AED trained person on site that doesn't call for an AED?
Well, your trained person would presumably demand it, right?
There's a fine.
Well, people are cheap, AEDs.
Yeah. So he's the guy that can look at the person having a heart attack and say, yeah, we need an AED here. Somebody call the fire department. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Make your own brands. We're resourceful. So, anyway, it just struck me as ironic. Okay, another one. I think I have a little more there. Yes, getting to these things. Hard hats must be worn when working under the towers. Gloves are recommended while handling them. Closed shoes, sunscreen, usual heat and heavy lifting kinds of things. ARRL actually just calls for a fire extinguisher accessible, but we say each running generator must be accompanied by a fire extinguisher. So, but when first aid kit.
Experience from past years, don't store the gasoline right next to the running generator.
Excellent idea. I believe there is something about proper storage of fuel, so that's one we should watch. Also, I think we probably want to bring out some shovels and rakes and make sure that we're not setting the generators on dry vegetation.
It's actually pretty flat right now. Last week was Valley Center Western Days, and that whole area was covered with cars. So they mowed it all, and they've run it all over with cars for the last 3 days.
Excellent.
So it's pretty good right now.
Excellent. So I got a fire extinguisher. Well, I have a fire extinguisher for my generator. I picked up a first aid kit and a bottle of Actine for my station. It's $15. So might be nice to have a bigger first aid kit there. Of course, the fire department's across the street. But I think we meet the requirement with mine, but I'd encourage the station captains to have one on hand. Yeah, that's a thought. That may, well, Mark, you probably know more living out there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, it was a snake kit.
I They keep saying they're really bad this year, but I've been roaming all over the place on my property and none of us in the neighborhood has seen any or heard any this year.
Okay.
So, and like I said, that whole area has been covered with cars last weekend. So, and quite frankly, if somebody would get hit by a rattlesnake, send somebody across the street to the fire department and get an ambulance.
Yeah, not to make light of the snake bite, but it's not
Oh.
something where 2 minutes is gonna make the difference in.
Oh, like I said, just go straight across the street and get the fire department. You don't mess with it. That question, there was a, different class, I believe in class, instead of being 3A, would be an F, which is within your, if you're within a certain distance of a fire department or hospital. Have you researched that?
The EOC.
Yeah.
EOC. Yeah, you have to actually be doing something with the EOC. And I don't.
You know, if we've got food, they will be there. So, if I do with.
Yeah, that is a thought. That might be an interesting one to look at. Probably not this year, but they might be close enough that we could arrange something. So, but yeah, unfortunately, just being, you know, within a block of the fire station doesn't qualify. And again, plenty of water and rest for set up and tear down crews. With the prediction of heat for next week and knowing last year, it's necessary. We're going to beat it into our heads between now and then. And one of the things I've noticed the last couple of years is when we're putting antennas together and getting the towers ready to go up, the only thing that will hold a tool that's not the ground is the tower. And I'd rather people not set tools on towers before we stand them upright. So I would like to have a small table, PARC table or something in the setup area that we can put the tools on instead of the thing we're going to stand up above people's heads.
And is Charlie gonna check for the pipe this time?
I think, I think no pipes in the tower is on the safety list, right? Yeah. And out by the road, especially with the lighting, want to make sure we don't set hot lights into dry vegetation. So it may not be much of an issue, but it's definitely something we want to pay attention to. Okay, points. I didn't break out everything. Many of you who have participated know there are a bunch of things we get 100 points for. I didn't try to break out every little thing, but of course we get points for operating and making contacts. That's sort of the central thing. Get on the air, we get points for getting people on the air. If you haven't been on HF, if you've been mostly inactive, if you only have a tech license or no license, and you want to come out, you'll get some coaching, you can make some contacts, and get primed for big stations. And in the process, we get a few points for it. There are points for the safety officer safety checklist, having a public location information table. We have articles going to the Valley Center Escondido papers already. Our friends in the Valley Center survey are getting those in. But use contacts with some others. If there are others close by that people know of, let me know. We'll get you a copy of the write-up and see about getting it to them. Getting elected officials, agency representatives out with the captain come out the truck and fill the barrels and show them what we've got. Youth participation. I didn't know about this one, but for every person under 18 who makes at least one contact, up to five is an extra 20 points. So get 5 young people on a station, 1 contact each, that's 100 points. So bring your kids out, grandkids, friends' kids. I don't recommend kidnapping somebody outside of school though. Although if the police came out, that would help to fulfill her. Yeah. The National Traffic System, net, Marvin, KD6YJB does that one every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. That means Saturday at 8 p.m. there will be an NTS net. And if we can get some radiogram traffic onto Marvin's net, we can get some points for that. Yeah, so, yeah, it's best not to try to do it on the fly. Have, have a name and phone number and send birthday greetings to somebody you know. Some people. Yeah. And if you want some help with that, ask. I'm sure somebody at the site can set you up. There's also, if you look up National Traffic System, the ARL has the actual radiogram form. If you fill out the body of it. We'll see about getting some of those. We missed Art. Art had a great satellite setup, and I think he always made contact. But you don't have to have that big a setup. If you've got something and some practice hitting a satellite and schedule as a good pass, come out and give it a try. It costs nothing to try and you get points to see. So that'd be good. There's an alternate power. We run the A station off of battery/solar, no fuel, or a few contacts, and there's a bonus in it. Copying the ARL field day bulletin, which is transmitted several times during the event. If operators on the stations at the appointed times can listen for those. Or it's just a listening thing, so anybody can set up their shortwave set and try to pick it up. It doesn't have to be copied off one of the main stations. And an organized educational activity. We'll see if we can shape one of the demonstrations or things that we're doing into enough of a hands-on educational organized thing to qualify for a few points there. More? Okay. And then, well, what do we need? We've got a lot of things. We've got a lot of tables, we've got a lot of chairs, we've got generators, we've got shelters. Probably there is a use for a few more of those things. It's always good to have plenty more lined up than you need, just in case. Yeah. Valley Center signed up for a few of those. But setup and tear down, as mentioned, needs some muscle. So help there, good deal. We have a GOTA station. Jim's bringing that out, but it's a long day. Let's not make Jim actually be the GOTA coach the whole time. If you'd like to spend some time helping new people get on the air, then talk to Jim and get a time slot and help him out a little bit. It's a great experience. Information table will be right there by GOTA. I think Glenn's taking care of the information table. And again, let's not make Glenn sit there at the information table for 12 hours straight. If you can take a shift, sit there and greet people, show them the handouts, point them around the site, explain what's going on, be a representative for amateur radio, then talk to Glenn, sign up for a time slot, and help him out. More people, less work for each, more fun for each. Station operators, I've got a couple, but could use plenty. I think Mike can use some, Charlie probably could handle one or two more. So same deal, more people, less work each, more fun each. So I'd like to take a slot on a station. 4 hours is normal, but if you're in for 2, then 2. It's 2 hours more than none. It's a lot of fun once you get on and start making contacts. It'll pull you right in. So talk to one of us, get the time slot, and get on and have some fun. The NTS, the app message is great. Also, somebody to get them over to Marvin. And I did this a few years ago. I can give some coaching to somebody if they want a little help with it. And aforementioned satellite, and also I haven't heard of a VHF station so far. It's free, so if somebody has a good VHF setup, wants to bring it out and point it around, every point we make there is free. So, don't know how much we get there, but if somebody wants to come out and try, we'll do it. And I know there's more. I've got checklists, and I've got other checklists, and I'm matching what people have with what we need, and I'm sure more will come to light. So in light of that, I'd also encourage you, if this wasn't a club meeting, we'd be in the middle of the field day planning net. The next 3 Wednesdays, I think we have 3 between now and field day, 8 p.m. on the 7:30 repeater, is field day planning. See what's going on, and if you have something to contribute, that's a good chance to get in. Most of all, we need people with, enthusiasm and excitement. Come out and have fun and enjoy the event. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead. So what, bottom line? Again, field day is what you make of it. So come on out, participate how you can, and what you take away depends on what you bring. So it's open to a lot of choices, a lot of approaches. Whether you come out for the whole weekend or just drop in for a little bit, see what's going on, it's a great chance to learn, play, connect with your fellow hams, contribute what you can, operate, and more. And say the ionosphere is the limit, right? Do I have any more? Okay. Let's see, one thing I'm realizing I left out. I do have an email list that goes with the planning net. If you would like to get on that, if you aren't, then email me, my call sign, AG6CF@yahoo.com. I'm on QRZ, I have an ARRL.net address also. And I'll add you to the list and help keep you up on what's going on. So Joe mentions the Sandark is, I figured out they have more money than they realize, and so the testing is free, both the regular morning session in Escondido and the field day session.
Do you need an FRA number?
Yes. It's easy to get, you go to the FCC website, and if you have a license, you have an FRN. But for new people, yeah, if you're going to, or if you're advising a friend, then you need to go to the FCC website, you do a little bit of a form, and it'll come, I think, right back with here is your number. Okay, yeah, you can do it on a smartphone, you can probably do it on site, but it's easier if you have it ahead of time. I do remember when I did mine, the forms say FRN or social security number. Sandart does not want your social security number. They will not take it. So, and yeah.
What the QSO exchange is,
Yeah, the exchange for field day, call sign is always your section. So ours is San Diego, this is Sierra Delta Golf, and the station class. So, which, unless something changes, it's going to be 3 Alpha this year. And we'll have a little guide for the operators with, what the band limits are and the exchange and so on. RSC.
Yeah, so if the station count, I plan to use N1MM for logging in. That has a box that has the exchange in it, so you just look up the box. But I'd also like to point out that field day for me is one of the most fun times to get people on the air that are either not licensed, techs, or have never been on HF. I got, like 2 years ago, I think 6 people came by that had never been on HF, and they started working a few contacts, and they had a lot of fun doing that. I know Gail did that when they had the YL 15-meter station a couple years ago. They had a couple of girls there that they just would get in line, make their 5 contacts, get into the line, and keep looping around. So if you don't have a license, if you have a tech license, or if you've never been on HF, stop by the 20-meter station. I will get you on the air, absolutely. And I'll show you how to do it. It's not hard at all. And if you want to operate for a couple hours or a half hour or whatever you want, NA6MB@ARL.net.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Other?
Just thinking about your supplies and equipment transfer, you made arrangements to get towers out there?
Still a work in progress, Dennis.
Working on it.
I'll probably end up pulling them with my truck. You said I could use.
My equipment has been taken away to the leadership here, so my equipment's no longer allowed on the field. So it's gonna have to be taken off my trailer.
All right, okay, I've got a plan B for that. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay.
Okay, others? Bring it in. What's out there? A lot of dirt, some rabbit holes. Yeah, there are a lot of fire ants out there. Yeah, maybe it's big. Yeah, well, there were some ant hills in a couple of spots. They're sporadic. But we will have the standard porta potty and sink, and people will be bringing out RVs, tents, sleeping on the ground.
No.
But yeah, it's open all night. People will probably be staying over Friday night. I'll probably be out there. I don't wake up as early when I'm at home. So it is open for that now. Any other? Oh, good. As I said, I know I forgot some things, but I'll think of them. If you think of them, email me, remind me. update us. I would appreciate it. So, thank you, and
Again, if somebody wants to help Ryan a little bit, please see him do all the things that need help, and it should be a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good night.
Does anybody have my black clipboard with the volunteer list on it?
It's here.
Great, you said here, support.